So yeah, as many of you already know, we are currently discussing the path of meditation as we develop it here, stage by stage, step by step, since episode 200. You can find them online if you want to listen to them one by one, and I highly recommend you to. If you want to start from the very beginning. But at the beginning of every session, I'm shortly walking through all the steps that we have covered so far. And every session, we always start with 3 preparations. The first one being your posture. Posture should be upright, at the same time relaxed. So you want to combine these 2 qualities. One quality of being upright, but it is incomplete if it lacks relaxation, if you're not comfortable in being upright. So both of these have to come together. If you're too comfortable, you start slouching, you start collapsing, you start going to sleep eventually. So you don't want that. So you want to learn to balance your body nicely. That will not be very comfortable, but it doesn't always have to be comfortable. And I do think most of us don't really grow in life if we're just being comfortable all the time. So here is an opportunity to practice patience, to practice to let go of pain, to practice being able to actually let go of pain by using your mind and your breath rather than by evading it or moving your body, etc., escaping the problem. So you're able to learn to actually deal with your problems more directly, which settles you in your being quite a lot. So many people are actually training their posture properly. They become very settled and very relaxed. So that's a major benefit of training your posture. So even if something happens, your energy is not flaring upwards and making you nervous, making you explode, making you lash out at other people, but you can stay composed and calm. This is because you have learned not to react to every little pain that's happening in your body and instead to remain calm. That's a good skill to have. And the second preparation is about the breath. Breath is life. If you're breathing deeply, your body is nourished by the breath. It is energized by the breath, which leads to more clarity in your mind, which leads to greater well-being in your body, and helps you to relax, helps you to wind down. So it's an excellent preparation to take a few deep breaths in the beginning. The third preparation is your attitude. Obviously, I don't have to mention how important the attitude is when you're practicing meditation. However, many people seem to overlook the importance of attitude. The general attitude during meditation practice is one of kindness and compassion. So you're going to accept whatever comes along, but that is not it. It's not just about accepting things that are coming and going, but it's also about understanding them properly, comprehending them, seeing them in terms of whether they are creating suffering or happiness. Or letting go of the one, cultivating the other, etc. So basically, compassion and kindness here means that you're sitting and you're looking after yourself, you're taking care of yourself. Instead of avoiding ourselves, taking some time off every day where you sit down and you face yourself, you see what's going on inside of my mind, what's happening to my emotions. Am I truly happy? Am I really happy? Or am I just happy as long as I'm nicely distracted? Am I truly happy, or am I only happy as long as I have my toys? Or am I naturally happy from the inside out, meaning I don't need certain conditions in place? I can be happy also without those conditions, without a book in my hand, without my smartphone, without company. But I can truly be happy by myself, doing nothing. I enjoy my own company, right? That is a result of being kind and compassionate with yourself, of looking after yourself, of actively caring for yourself. And meditation is that kind of act. It's kind of an act of being an adult about yourself. You're looking after yourself. Usually for children, parents look after them, right? When you were a child, your parents were looking after you. They were showing you what to do and what not to do. They were showing you those things that you could do so that you're happy, And they were showing you those things to avoid that would make you have an experience of problems. That is the love of a parent. And then when we're grown up, very often we don't really know what's making us happy, and we don't really know what's making us suffer. We think we do, but we're all really just trying around. We're groping around in the dark, consuming, producing, going here, going there, looking for happiness all over the place. However, never really looking where it's at, which is inside of ourselves. And spending time with yourself means getting to know yourself. Getting to know yourself means understanding yourself, means you know how you work, and you see clearly what is a cause of happiness and what is a cause of suffering. You see clearly what is to be abandoned and what is to be cultivated. We come to the first stage of the actual practice here. We cultivate presence and we let go of, we cultivate relaxation in the first stage, and we let go of tension in our body. First of all, the body is full of tension. We all have stressful lives, and the stress that you experience during the day is reflecting in your body. When you sit down quietly, you're on your mat, you have a good posture, you took a few deep breaths, you checked in with your attitude, and you will notice, okay, the body is quite tense. So you take quite a lot of time to allow your body to relax. And your body will need time for that. You can't just make your body relaxed in 5 minutes. Your body will need some time to wind down. That's usually around 20 to 30 minutes that it takes. So you want to give your body that time. If you say, I don't have that kind of time, that's a very sad statement. I don't have that kind of time to wind down and to relax. Oh my God, that's pretty bad. You mean you don't have that time to look after yourself? That doesn't sound pretty good. That is necessary. It is necessary as food. It is as necessary as breathing. And we have time for that. It is as necessary as, I don't know, making a living, etc. Because if you don't look after yourself properly, then the very person which is living your life is in disarray, in disorder. The mind is chaotic, the emotions are chaotic. How does that translate into a life which is fulfilling when you yourself are chaotic on the inside? It doesn't really add up, right? So it's important to understand how you work. If you want to make life work, and you have to know how you work. You have to understand how the mind works. The mind is almost like a director. It gives everything you do direction. And before we can even have a look at the mind, it's important to actually relax a little bit. Just settle down a little bit. Let go of the general nervousness in the body. Becoming cool and calm. And from that cool and calm perspective, then you get a taste of what it means to be present, which is the second stage. Here you let go of thinking about the future and the past. Thoughts about the future, thoughts about the past have nothing to do in meditation practice. They have a place in life. They have a place in your workplace. They have a place in planning, etc. But not during meditation practice. So people, I tell them, practice to be present, and then they say, what about planning though? I need to plan as well. I'm not saying be present 24/7, but a little bit more present would help us to be a bit more relaxed. It is not about having no thoughts at all. It is about being able to choose when you want to think and when not. Can you do that? Can you sit in a train on the way to work and stop and just be there and relax, have a good time, being alive? Or do you have to worry about what's next? Do you have to worry about what just happened? Can you stop making yourself sick, in other words? I'm not saying stop making yourself sick 24/7, but a little bit less would be good, no? A little bit of an option and making choices like that would be better. So making such a choice is very skillful, it's very good. I would encourage that. And even if it's the choice to be present for the next 10 minutes. I'm sitting here by the ocean, at the beach, and I'm making it a point to just be here. To not think about something other than sitting at the beach. But to unite the body and the mind. The body is already here. Is your mind, though? Are you a being with integrity? Does everything align in you? Are you aligned? Is your body here? Yes. Is your mind here? Yes. Are your emotions here? Yes. Good. You're aligned. You're in your power. Now you're ready to take decent actions. They come from the right place. They don't come from confusion or anxiety or worries, etc. That's how important second stage is. The third stage leads you even deeper. It leads you beyond words, into silence. The experience of being here without talking to yourself in your own head. I'm not elaborating on that right now, otherwise the session is over very fast. Then the fourth stage is about cultivating awareness of the breath, stabilizing the mind with the breath, cultivating stillness, letting go of movement in the mind. And stillness is a direct cause for happiness. It's a direct cause for rapture, joy, bliss, pleasure. What you all desire. Every single one of you wants to feel good. As good as possible. That's why you shift your body, that's why you rotate your brain around. You try to think about this and that. You try to find and contemplate ways to make you happy. We all do that all the time. Happiness is not in thought, it is not in action, as much as it is more in stillness. If you want to experience really profound bliss and happiness, you have to still your mind. It is in those moments that you will feel most fulfilled. But that's not the only purpose. The purpose of having stability and pleasure, of being able to make yourself happy, of not depending on others to do that for you, it is a great degree of freedom and independence. Isn't it? If you can make yourself happy, you don't have to go around and bother other people. You don't have to ask them for attention. You don't have to ask them for their time. You don't have to ask for stuff. You're at ease, period. Because you're able to create that within yourself. There's more benefit to that. Once you can create it within yourself, you have actually something worthwhile that you could share with other people around you. Your happiness, your joy, your peace. Well, that's something good to share with your friends, no? They'd like to be together with someone that's at ease, that's happy, that's enjoying themselves. Because also when we walk around with our anxiety and our problems and our anger and our worries, then we are the problem of this world. Only when we ourselves stop putting problems into this world through ourselves can the world actually get better. It's what many people seem not to be seeing. We kind of wait for the world to become better, somehow often by yelling at it, trying to make it a better place. It becomes a better place if you are that better place. If problems end around you, if problems do not come from you anymore, if pain doesn't emanate from you, but peace does. Imagine that. Wherever you go, that's where there is peace. That's where there is happiness. That's where there are solutions, not problems. That's where there is joy. That's where there is an uplifting kind of vibe. That's where there is integrity, honesty, sincerity. That's where there are the qualities such as patience, virtue, honor, respect. Because you are there. And you embody these qualities. And you can only do that if you have enough stability within yourself to actually manifest and cultivate those qualities properly. If the mind flurries around like a bird that's trapped in a room, not much good comes out of that. So that's why we cultivate the mind. We sit down and we meditate. So today I'm covering another part of the inner toolbox, which is like little bits and pieces that will help you with your meditation practice. And today's tool is interest and curiosity. What is it that makes you sit down and meditate? It's that you're interested in something, right? You want something. You're curious about something. You want to find out about something. How clear are you about what you are interested in? What exactly is it that you want when you sit down and cross your legs? Be precise. I want to be a bit more happy. What does that mean, happy? What define happy? What do you mean by that? I want to suffer a little bit less. What is suffering? What kind of suffering are you talking about? Here's where it starts, right? We sit down, why? Because all of us, we share two basic interests. No matter how that manifests in our life, it manifests in various different ways, of course, but we share the same basic interest, which is the wish for happiness and the wish not to suffer. That's what we are all sharing. Nobody in this room wants to suffer. That's why you're all coming to the class today. You find some way of dealing with some form of suffering, some form of stress, some form of dissatisfaction, and trying to make life a little bit better. And that's the other side of the coin, right? We also all at the same time want to feel happiness. We want to feel good. We want to be at ease. We want the good stuff. And we all wonder, how do I get there? So there's your basic interest. And we're all trying also. Every human being is trying to find happiness in the ways that it has learned from their parents, from books, from media, from friends, from examples all over the world. We try to emulate those examples. We try to follow people. We try to find our way. See, does it work? So if you have that kind of clarity before you start sitting down and practicing meditation, then you give the whole thing much more power and direction. If you're clear about, what am I doing right now? Why am I doing it? How am I going to do this? You're in a very advantageous position. The task at hand is much more easy, rather than just kind of sitting down and, I don't know, watch the breath, hoping that it will work somehow, right? Many people, they sit down and they practice some meditation technique, and then they hope that it works. First of all, what's it? What is that it that is supposed to work? I hope it will work. I'm practicing meditation, and I hope the meditation will work. Do you see how fuzzy that is? How imprecise? So respect yourself enough to bring some precision into it, to ask the right questions. I mean, what am I really doing here? What do I really mean by happiness? You've got to ask yourself that. I mean, I can ask you all these questions, but it comes across probably a bit rude. But I encourage you to ask yourself those questions.
You've got to be there and kind of play the devil's advocate a little bit. Asking all those critical questions. Not just blindly believing whatever a meditation teacher says or what you've read in a book from an authority on the subject, and then you sit down and you kind of try to make it work. You are that element that needs to find the way. And you will make your very own personal way, following a given structure. And that way differs from all other ways. Like your body differs from all other bodies. So when you sit down and you meditate, there is a large deal of being very interested in what you're doing. So interested that it captivates you through the entire day. It doesn't let you go. You're sitting there and you try to bring the mind to the breath, for example. Why do you do that? Or to stabilize the mind. Why stabilize the mind? Because when the mind is stable, I experience well-being and ease and happiness. It feels good. There's an ending of stress of sorts. And I enjoy that. So I want to cultivate that a bit deeper and see how deep does that go. Here I'm curious. And I see how deep does that go. I want to explore this. And then the session ends, but I'm not done. Throughout the entire day, I come back to the topic. I think about it. I see it from different angles. I read about it. I learn about it. I hear talks about it. I surround myself with that topic. Because I'm curious. The people who have great success with meditation practice are exactly those people who are crazy about it. They're curious about it. They just want to know. I've heard this story about Einstein, actually. He was bothered by this question, what is light? And it didn't let him go. Wherever he took walks or sat down on a park bench, he would just constantly be thinking about that. What is light? And he would turn that question around in his head, look at it from various different angles, explore it, consult other people about it, would talk to others about that, get inputs, digest those inputs. So there's this intense hunger for knowledge. Do you see what I mean? If you have that, not maybe in that huge intensity, but if you cultivate that intensity, if you cultivate that hunger for peace, then your direction falls in line with that. Because you go where your hunger leads you. Everything in life is like that. Whatever you want, your wanting pulls you there. Desire pulls you there. Now, if your desire is aimed at something that is truly beneficial for you, it pulls you there. If your desire is aimed at something which leads to your downfall, it will pull you there too. So it's a wise thing to choose our desires well, because we can make that choice. To contemplate really well, what kind of path am I embarking on here? Why am I doing that? What is it that fascinates me about it? What is it that I myself want to learn from that? What is it that I already know? What do I know for sure? It's, for me personally, it's this basic curiosity and this interest that in my life comes from being very confronted through my life and the way my body is with death. And so for me that sparks this kind of curiosity. I want to know life, and I don't just want to know it like, hey, I know what life is, and then that's that, let's continue. But I really want to know, what is it? Why am I here? What's this body? What's this mind? What can it do? How happy could I be? Could I be any happier than this? Well, let me try. I want to know, how happy can I actually be? How good can I actually feel? I'm not satisfied with mediocre or minimal happy feelings, like a little happy feeling that I get when I purchase a new thing. Ooh, that feels good. All right, that's the lowest of the low levels of happiness that a human being can get. Are you satisfied with that? What kind of happiness do you get when someone says, I love you? It's probably a higher level of happiness. If someone respects you and voices that respect and says, wow, you did really well, that we like that a lot. If someone respects your opinion and comes to you for guidance, we like that. That's a bit of happiness. But it's still very, very small. It's very small. If you actually look at the quality of that happiness, it's very small. Hearing a nice joke, laughing about it, having sex, whatever it is, think about it. Whatever it is that makes you happy. Different things, right? But they're all very, very tiny happinesses. And they very often also come with a whole lot of problems. It's not just pure happiness. Like when I change my posture, it feels good, yeah? That's nice. Okay, the pain that was just there is gone now. But in reality, it's not gone, it has just shifted. It's now somewhere else in my body. And it slowly gets louder and more intense. So most of us are not really solving problems, we're just shifting them around from one place to the other, evading them, avoiding them, not dealing with them actually. The happiness that comes from actually dealing with a problem, probably really solving it, dissolving it, that is a much higher happiness. The happiness that comes from putting down a burden depends on how large the burden is equally as fulfilling. So it's that kind of curiosity, for example, that brings me deeper. When I sit and I practice, I notice, ooh, that feels nice. So I enjoy that for a little while, and I explore that joy. I want to see, what's the real quality of that joy like? I really pay attention to it. For long times, I sit there just exploring that particular type of joy. Until I notice there is still some suffering in it. There's still some friction in it. Could I let go of that? And then I try to find a way to let go of that. And as soon as I find the way, and I'm able to let go of that tiny little friction, the happiness expands and reveals a deeper level of happiness, which is by far more intense than the one that I just had. Then it's like, wow, didn't even know I could feel that good. Then I dwell on that one and I explore that. I want to see, what is it like to feel that happiness? Is it perfect happiness? Could it be better? Could it go deeper? What would I need to let go of so it goes deeper? What is limiting it? Where is its boundary? In that way, I'm curious and I'm interested in it. I'm really interested in happiness. Enough so for me to sit down every day and cultivate it. Actively make it grow. So I encourage you to take that question home with you. What would it be that makes you interested in meditation practice? What are you curious about when you sit down and you practice? It's not just about following a technique like a robot, hoping for results. It will not get you anywhere, I promise you that. I have to learn that the hard way. through many, many years of trial and error. But fortunately, I have enough interest and curiosity to keep me stuck to the game. Otherwise, I would have given up already, long time ago. Because sometimes you go through many months or even years of drought. It's like walking through the desert and you're looking for water. And no matter where you turn, it seems like there is no water inside. You've got to have some interest to keep going. And this is what separates a true practitioner from someone that kind of just tries it out for the first time or something. And that kind of interest and that curiosity, it grows. For someone doing that for the first time, their interest already starts to grow. I don't know where you are at your level of interest and what pulls you and how hungry you are for happiness and peace. But this is a major force that pulls you down the rabbit hole. Or that lifts you up, however you want to call it. It's both correct. Okay, so that's all that comes to mind for today. Are there any questions?